You guys, what's up? This is a Marin Terra Linda 1. Brand new bike, just purchased for my wife. I don't see a ton of videos on YouTube on this one. So let's do a quick overview, nothing too specific. Just a general look at the bike here. And we'll start with the drivetrain. You can see it's kind of a non-specific, non-identified triple in the front. It's a tourney in the rear. And the wacky part about this one is it's 7-speed. When was the last time you had a 3x1, 21 speed? This is 2020, folks. Kind of nuts. The tires are 700 by 35. Here's what the tread pattern looks like. And you can almost see what that tire clearance is like. You can't go much wider than this. And by the way, this is an extra small, so that's my kind of beef with this bike is, you know, I wish manufacturers would match tire or wheel size to frame size. There's no excuse for a extra small bike to have 700C tires. It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe you should have the option if you wanted to, but in general, a small frame, an extra small frame should have, you know, in this day and age, I guess 27.5, although more appropriate would probably be 26-inch wheels. But I'm not sure why this one has 700. I know it's like more of a road variant, and maybe that's why, but I don't think it makes much sense, and I'll explain to you why in 1 second. Here's the clearance on the front tire. Here you could definitely go fatter with not too much issue. There's plenty of space. There's a boss here for, I guess, a rack on the front. You do have fender mounts, front and rear. But here's what I'm talking about as far as tire size. Look at how close the pedal is to the wheel. And my wife and I both tested out. Definitely susceptible to toe strikes in the front. Not crazy massive ones, you know, but you definitely get that toe overlap with the front wheel. And again, I'm not sure why you'd want a 700 wheel size on an extra small frame, because that's the issues you run into. You know, unless the fork was way out front, you're gonna have toe overlap with this wheel size. Bike does not come with any bottle cages, that's mine. And likewise, you may have noticed this EC90 saddle I put on here for my wife. You could watch that review or that introduction on my channel. It is a pretty good saddle, works out for her pretty nice. The shifters and brakes are Shimano combination deals, which again to me is a downside of this bike, because if I wanted to upgrade the 7-speed drivetrain, you know, go 1x10 or something like that, that means not only do I have to buy a shifter, but I have to also get a brake lever. You know, if these were separate, you could just put the new shifter on, leave the brake levers, you're good to go. But in this case, any type of drive upgrades, you know, you want to go 2x or 1x in the front, well, you have a shifter on your brake lever in front, so you got to get a whole new setup, you know, with just a brake lever for the front. Not optimal, but price point. Coming back here just to grab the original saddle from this bike, which I think you guys are gonna laugh. I mean, look at the size of that thing. I mean, this is like, just, maybe on video it doesn't do it justice, but this is like a giant saddle. Like, I mean, this is like for a 6'5", 300-pound man is what the saddle is for. That's not an extra small women's bike saddle at all. I mean, I get it, you guys match the colors with the little inserts, but damn, this thing is just huge. I mean, I laughed when I first saw it. Holy crap. So save probably a pound by going to this guy. Pedals are plastic. They do have these grippers on them. They look like they could be screwed in and out. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I haven't messed around with them. I doubt it though. Maybe that's just how they're molded. But you could see there's like a screwdriver thing in them. But I doubt you could actually mess with that. And by the way, the bearings are just meh. The brakes are these Tektro cable discs. And I want to say it's a 140 in the back and a 160 in the front. Don't quote me on that. Check the specs. No, it does say 160 right there. Not sure where I saw that. It might have been the 140 in the rear, but no, it's a 160 front and back. They're fine. I don't have a problem with these guys. I wish you could adjust the outside pad like you can on a BB7 or something like that. You can bring the inside pad in, but there's no adjustment on the squeezing outer pad. Here's how the front derailleur mounts up here. So pretty easy to take off if you do want to go to 1x setup. And the frame is very tight for a bottle cage, so I went with this side mount specialized cage. I don't recall off the top of my head how wide the bars are, but I know my wife was okay with them. She's 5 foot tall. She might want even a little bit narrower bars than this. We'll see after she puts a good ride into it. But she didn't complain off the bat. I know she has on some bikes that are just crazy wide. This one's fine. You can see the quality of assembly here. Couldn't even get the top cap lined up. Lazy. Terra Linda 1. Aluminum frame and a chromoly fork. Unicrown deal. The hubs are Marin branded ones. And I don't even know what these tires are. Deli tire. I don't know what that says. No, you can't see that. I'm sure it's some kind of a parts bin deal. There's your tourney. Series 1 aluminum. I like how everybody has a label for what metal they use, even though it's probably all the same stuff. Bike shop, they throw on a kickstand. That's how it mounts in there. Single bolt. The rack mounts are up here, so they're not on the seat stays. They're actually on the seat post or on the seat tube. And here's your rack mount there, and you do have a hole right there to mount the fenders. As you see, you do have a guard around the chain set here. Again, no branding on these guys, but it looks clean enough. It's a square taper bottom bracket and Marin branded rims as well. Initial test drive was pretty good. The wife was happy. She felt comfortable. She felt smooth. Shifting was good. So she had a nice experience with it. We bought it online, sight unseen, just because of what's going on with the virus. Can't get any bikes for a test ride. Everything's sold out. So as soon as something pops up, you got to jump on and get it. Extra small. And this paint, I believe, everywhere you see this kind of silverish paint on the forks, on the frame itself, right here, and even right there, I believe that's all reflective paint. So I think that should, in the headlights at night, that should reflect. So it's a cool feature. Grips are not lock-on, they're just rubber. but they are fairly soft and decent thickness. So not too many complaints on that side. And the bike did come with a bell. I don't know if that's from Marin or just a local bike shop that does that, so no idea. Stems branded Marin as well. And have a nice badge on the head tube as well. One thing also that caught my eye was how odd these headset spacers are. They're very skinny. I mean, you could see like whatever that part is and how much the stem itself, how big it is relative to these spacers. Like, it seems like these rings should just be bigger. It looks weird. Even, you know, just coming up to the bike, you don't have to really look for it. You just glance and you're like, whoa, why are these spacers so skinny? Just strange. But at least they left a decent amount for me on the fork steer, so they didn't cut it too much off of that, leaving a good amount of adjustment. All right, I don't have specs for you on what the rim widths are. The tires are some kind of a deli tire made in Indonesia. Don't know anything about that brand. They're directional. Max PSI is 80, 3.5 to 5.5 bar. And yeah, I wish they were a bit thicker too. But like I said, you could fit a thicker tire, a wider tire in the front very easily, but I very much doubt you could go a lot wider in the back. Because, you know, if you start riding on paths and stuff, if you get a stone, you're just risking just gouging your chainstays. So that's my concern with going too much wider here. I think you could probably go a little wider, but not a ton. Again, here's a kickstand that my bike shop threw on. I asked for a bottle cage. They said no, but they're gracious enough to just have the kickstand on, which they cut in a very ugly manner for some reason. I think they're rushed, they're overwhelmed, so bike was definitely put together very hastily and required some adjustments. Some of the bolts were loose, like just these random bolts on the forks were loose. The brakes weren't adjusted quite right. The inner pad was too far out, so when you push the brake, it was deflecting the rotor too much. So I had to bring that in a little bit. But again, minor gripes. The saddle was mounted kind of in the forward fashion, so sloped down. But I changed that anyway, so again, not a problem for me. But there you go. This is the Marin Terra Linda 1. Hopefully this video helped you make a buying decision, or if you're just curious about the bike. Again, the biggest downfall I see is the wheel size and the geometry that concerns me with the toe overlap. Way too close, the pedal to the front tire. Everything else I think is good. The welds look good. It's a Indonesian bike, not a Taiwanese bike, surprisingly enough. But again, the frame looks good. The welds look solid to me. That's pretty right there. So I'm pretty happy. You know, obviously the part spec is very low, but the price is very low as well. $450 plus tax, I think this one was. So decent amount of bike for the money. Looking forward to putting some mileage on it with my wife. She's coming off old GT Zoom bicycle. It's very heavy, 26-inch bike, and still had the rim brakes, which I wanted her desperately to upgrade to the discs. I'm the big believer in disc brakes, and I think that's just a good confidence booster for a lot of people, you know. Even though her brakes work fine, I prefer discs by a wide margin. All right, folks, post up in the comments what you think, what you like, what you don't like, what you want to know more about. And I will say that the geometry is also different on the extra small versus the other sizes, because the top tube is very much sloped down. The other sizes, and also actually if you step up to like a Terra Linda 2 or 3, the top tube is also different shape. So it kind of comes flat and then shoots up. So it's a different geometry on those bikes, at least as far as the top tube is concerned, than this Terra Linda 1 extra small version. Gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.